Hello everyone and welcome back. Two More Sargeras is right around the corner, 7.2.5 already dropped, so that means that we are very close to getting our tier 20 and replacing our tier 19. Now as a prot warrior, the first time I took a look at the tier 20 set bonus, I was very disappointed, very disheartened, and I wanted that set bonus to not be true. But now that the set bonus is set in stone and we know we're getting that set bonus, what I went ahead and did is I actually crunched a lot of the numbers. I went ahead and just did a fight for 5 minutes straight to see exactly what the set bonuses did and how they played out, and I'm very glad with the results. So let's go over exactly what I did and how I came to these conclusions. So the tier 19 set is harder to measure since it is more defensive, but basically tier 19 2 set makes 1 in every 5 hits be critically blocked by giving you 20%. It's now been nerfed to actually be half of that, so now it's only going to be 1 in every 10 hits, or 10% of the time you get a crit block, and every time you crit block you also gain an extra 5 rage. And the total damage reduced from crit blocking was actually just 94% of the damage was actually taken. So overall, over the course of the rest of the battle, the crit blocking from the 2 set bonus only accounted for a 6% damage reduction. Now the bad part about this is that the 6% of damage reduced is only applied to physical damage, and then on top of that only applied to physical damage that can be blocked. So it starts to become a more narrow look at what damage you can mitigate through only the set bonus. Also, during the course of those 5 minutes, from the tier set bonus alone, I gained about 200 rage, giving me about 3 1/3 ignore pains. Now, if we look at the tier 20 set bonus, in those 5 minutes, I was actually able to get 7 berserk rages off, and each berserk actually gives you 80 rage. So I was able to cast 9 1/3 ignore pains. So if we take a look at tier 19 versus tier 20 hand in hand, tier 19 reduced the damage I took by 6% of only physical and blockable damage, and from the 4 set tier bonus I was able to cast an extra 3 1/3 ignore pains. Now from the tier 20 set bonus with the 4 set bonus, I was able to cast 7 berserk rages, which added up to 9 1/3 ignore pains. As of right now with my current gear, each ignore pain is about 1 million. So that means that I was able to mitigate 9.3 million damage with tier 20. As opposed to tier 19, I would need to take over 5 million physical blockable damage in order for my damage mitigator to add up to what tier 20 did. So once we take a deeper look at tier 19 and tier 20 is amazing in every way, shape, and form. It comes out ahead by a lot. Tier 20 is about 3 times better than tier 19 was in terms of damage mitigation, and that's not even counting the fact that tier 20 is going to help us mitigate every single source of incoming damage, and tier 19 was only for physical and blockable damage. One other thing that tier 20 has over tier 19 is that the set bonuses rely a little bit heavier on haste as well. So given that prot warriors have always had a haste heavy build, now if we focus a little bit more on haste, it's actually going to benefit us and our tier set a lot more. So overall tier 20 is going to be a lot better than tier 19 was, and if you get the 4 set for tier 20, it's also going to be affected by your haste, so you can actually influence how strong your tier set bonus is. And the fact that with tier 20 over the course of a 5-minute fight I was able to get an extra 9 million plus of damage mitigated, and that is any kind of damage, means that in Two More Sargeras, when we're all progressing and fighting through the bosses, we won't have the same scenario that we did in Nighthold, where bosses like Croesus really took us down a peg and made us feel extremely weak. So if you guys want to see all of my work, there is a spreadsheet in the description down below where I go over everything that happened in that 5-minute combat and how I came to the conclusions I came to. But overall, tier 20 is going to be amazing. We're going to be able to mitigate all the damage that comes towards us, and with the recent ignore pain buff that dropped with 7.2.5, that means that this is going to be even stronger. Thank you all for watching, and if you want to go ahead and support the show directly, please go ahead and visit my Patreon down below. Also go ahead and give us a follow on Twitch. We are streaming there at least once a week over on my healer or my DPSer, and I do runs with you guys, the audience. So if you guys want to go ahead and do any dungeons with me, go ahead and follow me over on Twitch. I do go live Thursdays or Fridays, and as always, good luck out there.